As Christians, we believe God calls us to seek justice and to work for good in the public square. But sometimes we struggle with how to do it. We have wonderful faith practices for worship, for prayer, for showing compassion to the neighbor. But sometimes when it comes to seeking justice in the public square, we flounder. Our synod and our congregations have found that faith-based congregational organizing provides concrete, effective tools for engaging the work of justice. And we are seeing that it's making a difference.
I love the intentionality of the organizing, how we meet. We don't just meet just to plan everything. We also meet to build community and to build trust and to deepen those relationships with each other, which I think is the foundation for doing this organizing work. But also love how we go through community organizer training and go through the steps of how we can actually be effective and impactful. And that gets me excited because I feel like we're actually have the possibility of winning these issues.
Over the last 3-4 years, we've been working with the SOAR team together and thinking about what it means to do strategic organizing for racial justice. And so it's incredible to be sitting here at a point where we were able to pass the Restore the Vote bill, which will restore voting rights to over 55,000 Minnesotans.
As a former felon, restoring the vote for me is a restoration and redemption of my democratic rights and responsibilities, really. Restoring the vote for 55,000 plus people, even more, is restoring democracy. It's restoring relationship with people in their community, people in their families, people in their neighborhoods. And now I can care even more. I can practice that caring, authentic, genuine, sincere responsibility for what happens in the community. I'm no longer on the menu. I can be at the table.
We showed up in so many different ways, from forums to one-to-ones to testifying before the judicial committees. It was just incredible to watch all the ways that people from across the synod, lay, clergy, deacons, the entire church showed up to be a part and to be a strong voice together in the fight for racial justice in our state.
Another huge win we're celebrating is the passage of the 100% carbon-free energy bill by 2040, making aggressive climate legislation the law of the land in Minnesota. For the last 3 years, the EcoFaith Network has supported this legislation, knowing that we need aggressive action from our state to build the sustainable energy systems required to truly care for God's creation. The passage of this bill opens the doors and allows us to continue to create partnerships and enable change to make Minnesota a greener and healthier place to live.
Yeah, and this is the first year I've actually done a lot of organizing at the Capitol, and I've had the opportunity to go a few different times. One with the EcoFaith team and a coalition of folks that are working on multiple social justice issues. We gather together as a large group and then actually get to meet with our senators and representatives and talk about issues that are important to us. And locally, where we live in Savage, we're part of a electric co-op, a rural electric co-op. And we've had the opportunity with the EcoFaith team to meet with the CEO and the leaders of that co-op, with the board members, to talk about, hey, are there things we can do in our electric co-op to make sure that everyone can benefit from making their homes more comfortable, saving money, and decreasing energy use, which will help the climate.
Undocumented immigrants have not had access to driver's licenses in Minnesota. We've been active, and after a long struggle, Lutherans were certainly involved this year. The bishop asked me to speak in one of the early committee meetings as that bill was being introduced on behalf of the synod, and talking about why this is important to our members and to our neighborhoods, how it aligns with our faith tradition and our social statements. We've been active in a variety of economic justice issues. We've for a long time have had a team working hard around predatory lending practices and continuing to try to move legislation. As I think about this current session and all that's been moving and many things that are important to congregations and to the people of Minnesota, it has certainly been encouraging to me in talking about how we as people of faith believe this change should be made or this issue should be moved.
The fight's not over, God's work's not finished, but it's time to celebrate the fact that Minnesota's gotten this close to creating equal opportunities for everyone.
Our organizing was successful this year because we showed up with our neighbors, and when we did and spoke to state leaders, we spoke with a vision of hope and compassion, and we know when we combine all of those things, that's how we win.